All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Spectator Mode Podcast. It is I, Get Serious. I'm joined by my three cohorts. I'm joined by Hot Keith, RPG Scott, and Drip Kevin Kelly.
I like that. Thank you, Hot Keith. That's the name now. Hot Keith.
Hot Keith, yeah. He's dying in the
Not
heat.
High
He's
Keith.
Hot Keith.
Hot Keith.
Yeah. Hot Keith. He's dying in the heat. Scott's got his RPGs and gotcha game on lock, and Kevin's throwing the best trip of his life. We're all dying in summer. Kevin's like, it's my time, baby. It's my time to shine. If you look at him, he might actually be a Leon player, but who knows? Because he was, it's my time to shine. He might actually do that.
Leon Raphael Mai actually says that. Mai says that in Street Fighter 6. She does.
I don't want. That's not canon. It's not an SNK game, so
it's not canon.
What?
It's canon enough. Hey, they have her dad in there, so it's
look,
like an actual picture of Mai's dad.
Jubei,
for 30
look,
years.
Jubei. Look, if you're gonna put Jubei the pervert in the game, come on, that's not a good sign for anybody. You know,
it's not Jubei. It's actually Mr. Hanzo.
I know.
Jubei
Yeah. Oh wait. So you tell me she has a father and a hot husband? Come on, that's too much. You guys think that's too much. That's too much. That's too much. You know, you're hurting the whole scene right here. You gotta put that down. It's all bad. So that is, as you can see, this is Spectator Mode Podcast. We're up to our what episode is this? 195? 195. Okay, so 192. Yeah. We're skipping numbers here. It's hot. Numbers are just an illusion. And it's been a great time. So let's get into it and talk about what's the most important thing to us right now. What have we been playing lately or watching? And let's start with the Drip Master, Drip Kelly. What you been playing or watching?
Clear Obscure. I know Virtual Fighter 5 Revo entered the qualifiers. Got my ass whooped, but yeah, no, I'm okay.
But at least you tried.
Exactly. You participated.
Did you when you lost? They didn't say GG. They say GG? They didn't say get the F out of my scene, you scrub. They didn't say that. I don't. Back in my day, that's what they did. But now they just say GG. You know, times are different.
Times are different. Yeah, you know, they say GG instead of saying GG to you, and then after when they go on the Discord, they're like, "Oh yeah, so and so is free."
Exactly.
He's $3.99.
But the sound they tag you in Discord and type in your full name at Block Swift is free. It's like, that's me. You just said it right there. I saw you. Like, no, that wasn't me.
Horrible.
That's the real tech. Good times, man. But I'm glad you're enjoying Lazarus. I only know Lazarus is a comic book from Brian. Yeah, so I haven't seen the TV show. But
you haven't watched it yet? Oh, you're missing out. It's good stuff.
Like I said, it's a thing in the future. As we continue the order.
I mean Mecha Break. I mean, I just played a.
Oh right, Mecha Break came out. That's interesting. You just played that 10 seconds ago.
You're doing past tense. You really have it on just right now, anyway. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I want to expose him because I don't want to expose him, but I can look at him right now.
Online.
He's online, so I can see that. I feel
I'm pretty upset.
Exactly. Like I'm not trying to say like he's doing something, but I'm pointing like, yo, that's the guy. Like you see the meme from DiCaprio. Boy, that's him. I see you. So yeah, man. A lot of people playing Mecha Break. Exactly. A lot of people make a break. I see a lot of VTubers play it. A lot of people at FGC be playing it. I'll give it a try once it's I have some more money because I throw away money, but I'll talk about that later. And let's see Scott what he's been up to besides playing the gotcha RNG. Yeah.
It's free to play.
It's free to play. Look, it's free to
play, but it pays to slay. No,
exactly. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get the drip, man.
You get in-game currency to get new characters. I mean, new mechs.
No, I need to do the lazy. Look, I have a credit card now. That I have a job. I don't care about my life. And that's why Scott's and tells about his next game and his gotchas. Tell him about your credit card. I mean, your gotcha games.
Credit card. I mean, I guess we'll start with the one gotcha that I've been playing a lot of. But Persona 5 Phantom, I've finished the first Palace on already.
That was, unironically, that game has too much effing quality. The amount of quality in that game, it's crazy. It's crazy.
They put a lot of the assets of Persona 5 and like enhance them into the gacha game, which makes it actually, I think, a bigger game than Persona 5 Reload or Persona 5 Royal is.
Royale. Yeah, I'm like, that hurts so much. It's like, all right, all right, everybody, we're going to put in the money today. Today? What happened before? Don't worry about it. I'm like...
So wait. So it's like what? 300 hours now?
There's probably as at least that much. At least if you're trying to get all of the side content as well, because there's like the Velvet Room trials you got to do. There's also like the realms you have to actually beat. There's also like a boss rush type thing, and then you also have the actual story that's going on. And then you have, just like in Persona 5 Royal, you have bonds you have to actually work at getting, which the bonds are now, they're not really time gated, but they are stamina gated. You have a certain amount of like action points that you can use that like after every few hours you get an additional action point, like they do in like most other gacha games, where they just like, we don't want you to basically just spend your entire life on this game doing all the bonds. We need to stop you from doing that. But we also want you to keep playing every day. So there you go.
God, yeah. Speaking of that, is like if you guys, I'll probably talk about the games I've been playing. Like Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is revamping their entire daily, weekly like system to make you play longer instead of shorter. Because once you do your dailies, you don't really care anymore. So yeah, everyone's trying to think of new ways to make you play longer. But yeah, Scott, outside of praying to the Atlas credit card god, what you been up to?
I also was able to finish and review the Bravely Default remaster that came out on Nintendo Switch 2. Still really good story. The only thing that I thought was basically says a negative is it's a little too authentic of a remaster, in the sense that they didn't really change or like mix it up too much or give you a lot of quality of life features like they could have done. But overall, it's still a solid game, solid gameplay. It has a solid story still. And it even like adds an additional scene in the beginning that kind of already gives you a sense of the meta narrative that's going on that happens at the end of the game.
Right.
So I actually, Bravely Default is one of the actual big reasons to get a Nintendo Switch 2 if you're a big JRPG fan.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. I've also been playing more Phasmophobia, and if you were actually looking at my Twitch last week, I actually streamed for the first time in months.
You've been busy. Yeah, you've been busy. That's all I gotta say. You've been busy.
I'm trying to get my computer account to a very high level so I can actually buy my own material. So
that's funny.
That's hopeful, but it's really fun. I've also been playing more Mario Kart World, but like everyone's been doing that who's a Nintendo Switch 2. That's not special.
Yeah. The knockout system is terrible though. I feel like it's based on time but not on wins, which is terrible. But that's a 5-hour argument later. I mean, you and Will have to explain to some other person during your future podcast, because that person doesn't play games. But you have to explain to them why it's bad. But
yeah. As far as things that I've watched, I've only really watched I watched technically 2 movies. One was the old like 70s or 60s Spartacus, for those of you who like older films. It's like a 3.5-hour movie because it has like a 10-minute intermission in between the first and second acts. Back when movies used to do that.
Jeez, oh my god.
But honestly, it's not a bad film, and I think it's interesting that like the focus of it is so different than whenever you see other things that are trying to do a Spartacus story. Because like the old Spartacus film is basically just like all life, all slaves are like valid kind of a thing, so they never actually do a lot of focus on actual Spartacus. A lot of the focus is just on the slaves and basically the high class in general, and showing the differences between the two of them.
Yep.
Which I thought was really cool, and I think it actually does like describe also how like the end of the movie goes, where all the slaves will stand up and say they are also Spartacus, so that Spartacus isn't the only loss for the slave war. The slave uprising.
The slave uprising, which
is it better than the actual show or what?
I think the show is probably a lot more quality in the sense of like cinematography and like how the camera work has evolved over the years, but I actually think I like the kind of just backseat narrative it gives Spartacus in the movie a little better. So it's not making him be the front face of everything.
Yeah.
But it does make you question it, just like, anything, this could have happened from anybody. Anybody could have been Spartacus. It's just Spartacus decided he wanted to be Spartacus.
Which he was indeed Spartacus,
Yes, which he was. And the second movie I watched was K-pop Demon Hunters, which very different movie between those two, But honestly, I really enjoyed it. I think the music is just solid, and I've been listening to the soundtrack like almost every day since I watched it.
I mean, it is indeed K-pop, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, it is exactly what it says it is. It's K-pop Demon Hunters. They do not lie. You just don't expect that the demon hunting part is also part of the K-pop part.
Yeah, it adds a lot more than what we expected, but you know, we get what we get, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I do have some criticisms of how they treat the background characters, but in terms of the actual like story and like the pacing, it actually I think is pretty good. Except for the ending. The ending is confusing because of how a certain spoiler part comes in, and then they just jump over that fact into the ending, and it's just like where's the connective tissue between these 2 points? It's like it's not there.
They rushed the ending like way too quick. It's like, hey, this happened in the last 15 minutes. Like, all right, it doesn't matter.
We have to do the closing song.
Yeah, we had to look. Time is money, friends. You know, literally, they literally did like time is money.
They should have just added another like 10 to 15 minutes to just connect those two scenes, and it probably would have been a whole lot better at the end.
Wow.
But they did not do that. So the ending, sadly, the ending is great. It's just you're like the ending isn't deserved, kind of a deal.
Yeah. Oh, that's
The
That's
ending songs are like the two songs that I listen to probably the most because they're just amazing.
right.
But yeah, so that's basically been my week.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Yeah,
Well,
like-
I've played a few NDA titles that I can't talk about yet.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And let's continue with Hot Keith. Hot Keith, what have you been up to besides being hot?
Well, you know, sweltering, but you said not that. So actually been a pretty busy week. Other than getting frustrated, but I won't talk politics today. As Scott mentioned, he watched K-pop Demon Hunters. I did as well, by extension, because of my wife, because she seems to end up watching these cool shows, and I end up sitting next to her going, "What are you watching, honey?" And then it just goes from there. So watch that. That was pretty good. New Avengers, because I really like that show. Or yes, Thunderbolts, but New Avengers.
Yeah, he called by his
New
actual
Avengers.
name.
It's not a Thunderbolts movie for those who have actually read the comics. It is a New Avengers movie.
No, this would be crying.
It's a
No,
play.
I know, but
It's the reason why they call it that. You have to
Yeah.
watch the movie.
Yeah,
It's
no.
not
That's me. Yeah, that's me like crying right now. It's like I just wanted a Thunderbolts movie, man. I have all the Kurt Busiek comics right here. Come on, please.
Comic
Marvel,
book fans
please.
were basically thrown through a loop. Every other person was not. Which, to be fair, a lot of the MCU is probably not comic book fans.
Yeah, that's true.
No.
Not gonna
It's
lie,
definitely
yeah,
true.
that is
Especially
actually
with Sam Wilson, Captain America, they are definitely not comic book fans.
Yeah,
There's only one
God.
Captain America. Well, really, there's actually
There's a few, but
There's a bunch,
Yeah,
including
no,
Isaiah
yeah.
Bradley. So when people see him coming out, it's like, wait a second. Wait, there was a black Captain America?
There
Yeah,
was
yeah.
indeed, and there's
God.
there's an Indian
what's
one,
that?
and there's a
Yes,
bunch of
There
them.
was a woman. There's a
Yeah.
woman one. There's Amelia. There's a whole. And the blow up is that like is like my beef with Brave New World.
Wait!
Captain
Before you do
America.
that, isn't Luke Cage's daughter in the future Captain America as well?
Yeah, she is. Yeah. She is in 2099. Yeah, and 2090. And I believe it's
You know what I mean?
2090. Yeah, I believe it's either 2099 or it's God, I think it's either 2099 or it's the universe where Old Man Logan is. It's either one of those. I forget which one this is, but yeah.
I don't think it's that one. I think
Yeah, I got it. It's on
it's-
29 the
yeah,
other one,
it's
but yeah.
So other than that, watching Lazarus finished up. If you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. I think the last 3 episodes were easily the best of the season, of the series.
Mhm.
And because I've been so depressed as of lately, I've been watching a lot of Bluey. It's actually really good. It's really good.
it is.
Bluey is awesome.
Blue. Wow. Yeah,
I love the
good
mom.
stuff.
The mom is awesome, and I love the father. He's a jackass, but he's so fun. I love him.
Bandit is great.
He's-
Look. This is what happens when you actually love your kids. You know the theme of the show, like spend time with your kids and love your
But
family.
he,
You know.
he plays jokes on his kids, screws them over a lot, lies to them, and I'm like, Dad, and she's like, what? So it's good stuff. Outside of that, I've been playing a lot of Mecha Break. I'm really enjoying the game. I do have some issues, but I'm really enjoying it. It's feeding that Gundam Evolution fix ever since it got taken offline a few years ago. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Of course, Elden Ring.
Believe it or not, we're gonna talk more about that later because it got taken offline. Yeah, I wonder how we can fix that, but we'll talk about that later. That's
we don't want to talk about that, do we? Because it's only for one side. Other people can't play it.
Yeah, but we can talk. Anywho, yeah. Well, you guys, yeah.
Lots of Elden Ring. Obviously helping people do stuff. One game I can't talk about because it's NDA, and thinking about my life. I know that's 3 things, but yeah, been doing a lot of that.
That's a lot.
A lot of that lately. This environment, this climate is definitely making me go, well, okay. So what about you? What have you been doing?
What about me? Oh, what I've been up to? I've been playing a lot of Star Vaders. I've done a review. Check the website. Really fun. I've got the true ending of the game. I'm just missing 2 more characters to beat, and I did everything in that game in a nutshell until they make more content. Let's see what I've also been playing. I play Forge of the Fae. That's on stream. You can check it out. I talked about it. I'm playing it, so that. A lot of Marvel Rivals. New season's happening. I'm excited for it. I've been playing some Final Fantasy 14. I have now solidified my top 4 classes. It's Gunbreaker, Paladin, Red Mage, Black Mage. That's it. So you use some zapping and blocking. I'm your guy. I'm zapping and blocking. That's it. Gunbreaker is also blocking it. They're not a tank. Don't tell people that, okay? They're not a tank. And I've been playing a lot of that. I've also been playing. That's pretty much in a couple of games I'm NDA'd on, but that's about it. I've also been trying to pick up. I'm trying to relearn JoJo Heritage Fight for the Future, but it's been difficult because I have to sit down and relearn that game. That game is not a. It's not a. Oh yeah, I played enough anime fighters. This is all the same. It's just way too different. It's fun though.
Yeah. Is that that's still the Capcom one? Is it?
Yeah, it's a Capcom one, the good one.
Oh my god, I always wanted to try that.
It's a great game. It's it's literally goated. It's goated.
Especially when they throw that what was it, that flattener thing, and the guy jumps on top and goes,
yeah, Dio, yeah. That super is actual dog crap, but you can't hit it if you wanted to.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I've been playing a bunch of that. Oh, and I've been
so amazing.
And I've also been I've also been just replaying a lot of classic arcade shooters from Capcom Arcade Stadium, and I'll jump to this topic easy. It's not really, but I've been playing a lot of Psychon shooter titles, such as Samurai Aces and Tenga. So a Steam sale happened, and now I think I have every Psychon shooter ever made.
Uh-oh.
So that's it.
Steam sale happened.
Steam sale happened, and I'll have every Psychon. And by the way, they're only $3 a pop, so I don't really feel bad at all. So.
I got paid, but it got transferred to Steam for some reason. No.
Yeah. Gabriel robbed me. He
finally happened.
Money
now.
He
finally got suckered, huh? Steam sale got
He put a gun to my head, allegedly. Allegedly, he put a gun to my head.
Insert that meme of Steam taking your money out of your wallet. Or Steam coming to get that ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Daddy, no!
Learn.
But yeah.
You'll learn one of these days. I don't buy anything during Steam sale. Nope, no thanks.
Understandable. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. TV-wise, I haven't really watched much except for this guy called Mamdani winning. That's the only thing I've seen. But I really haven't been watching much on TV. I'm way behind. Right now, I'm just rewatching Sopranos. I'm season 4, so when I finish that, I'll probably watch someone else. I haven't really been watching anything. I've been off the radar, so because I've been gaming too hard. I'm not even joking about the gaming too hard part. I don't sleep. You guys can confirm I don't sleep.
He does not sleep. He says that a lot. He does not sleep. But we need to move on. We need
to move on. And to move on to bigger and greater pastures, such as I don't know why this is a topic, but apparently this is a real thing. Someone put electronics to overheat the cases while left on, that greater pastures, the heat, the summer. What's that about?
So this is more of a PSA. So during one of my various Reddit deep dives, there was a Reddit or thread about a guy complaining about that Asus makes shitty handhelds because he burned his hand when he took out his ROG Ally from the case that he put it into when he went somewhere. And of course, he wanted to tell everybody that he left it on. He thought it would go to sleep. And by the time he came back, and he pulled it out of the bag. He burnt himself. One, I'm like, holy shit, it stayed on that long. Shouldn't have died by now. And two, what moron puts any electronics, into a bag while it's still on?
Yeah.
They all will heat up. That's what they do. They all will heat up. I mean, obviously lower end things like maybe your Switch or calculator or something, again, low end won't do that. But anything that's high tech, like that device or maybe other handheld PC devices, a laptop, if you put it in a bag when it's still powered on and you come back later on, it's going to be super hot. You'd be happy if it didn't kill itself. You don't put electronics in places like a bag, a confined space, and leave it on and walk away. That's just like putting your PlayStation 5 in a small ass TV stand with the door shut and wondering why it sounds like a jet engine when you're playing a game.
Oh my God.
People do that. People do that.
People do that. Yep.
It's like, come on. So it was just a PSA, guys. Don't take your delicate electronic devices, put it into a small enclosure and or a bag, power on, and then complain if it burns you when you take it out.
I can't. I don't think I can have a conversation. That just sounds insanely stupid. I thought you were meaning when you put it as a topic.
That's ridiculous.
I thought you put it as a meme and a topic. I didn't know how to transition into that because that's just something to transition into.
I was being quite serious. That's the reason why I put it down.
It'll surprise you how often you'll find people who will like think that they know what they're doing and realize pretty quickly that they do not know what they're doing.
Steam Deck does it too. Steam Deck will do it to you as well. Anything that doesn't have passive cooling, i.e., it has a fan on it for a reason to cool it down, will overheat on you if you do not turn it off or put it to sleep. More specifically, if you have a Windows device that Microsoft doesn't know how to do hibernate properly, turn it the hell off. Don't expect for it to hibernate. It's going to not do it, and you're going to come back to either a melted device, a burnt bag, or possibly a fire. Because, batteries get hot, and they kind of explode.
That's insane.
Just turn off your devices before you put them in your bag.
Or just turn it off and just, God, it's crazy. I can't. Okay.
I just thought,
hopefully, what PSAs are we doing here, guys?
Being the technical person that I am, I saw that and I was like, this makes me mad. This makes me mad.
I don't think I could have a legal conversation with this. It's too dumb for me to actually talk about. I can't.
People do that. People do that. So please, folks, delicate devices like these things will get hot if you leave it on and put it in a bag. Don't do it.
Yep. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I can't. I can't.
That was it. I just had to do it.
Well, that's a transition for hopefully I solve future problems. Speaking of future problems, let's talk about the future of this great company called Microsoft. They're just a great company, always hitting the W, had a fantastic 2023 and 2024. Let's get into that. But in a very serious note, you don't want to, but you don't like winning. Microsoft is the W box.
It's okay. So let me go first. It's not winning. Okay. And people who are listening or watching this show, it's not because we want to jump on we hate the Microsoft bandwagon, because we were planning on talking about this before this happened, and we just ran into technical stuff.
We had this planned a few days ago, and then today happened, and today happened.
So if you watch us and pay attention to us, you know that we have talked about Microsoft and the ongoing problems for quite some time. And then also they decided they were going to partner with ASUS and work on an already existing handheld device called the ROG Ally, and then decided they were going to work with that company and have them put an Xbox X or button on their device that already exists and call it their handheld, which we said was very dumb. We said it's not going to be cheap. Of course, not trying to be a rude ass or calling people out, but the Xbox influencers, the people who love Xbox, were like, they're going to eat that price, and we're like, homie, no, it's just not going to happen. That is going to be at least in a nutshell $700-800 at least.
Yeah, basically, Microsoft. If you think Microsoft's going to do the right thing, think again. Speaking of thinking again,
that's go in order. That's go in order. So we were
talking
about
I'm going here. Let's think again. So a former person of Xbox fame, Miss Laura
He
Fryer,
can't.
who I
He's
follow
doing it now.
occasionally.
He's taking my thunder. Go ahead. I'm done. Go ahead. You got it. You got it.
Yeah,
Just
I
go
was.
ahead.
Yeah, why would I take your thunder? It is me. Look at me. Look at me, Keith. I am the host now. You're too hot to
Rolling
be the host,
thunder.
man.
All right, Namco. Gotcha. Keep going.
I got you. All right. So,
I
but
miss Rolling
seriously,
Thunder.
Rolling Thunder's great. Yeah. So, Laura Fryer, Xbox fame, one of the many people that was responsible for making Xbox 360 successful, and the reason why some of you are probably still are Xbox fans, which says a lot about her effectiveness. Recently did a video talking about the future of Xbox. She's been saying things that I would say people who are critical or have different receptions about Microsoft for a long time. People like myself who think Microsoft is a waste of time and money, and you have a much better chance of falling off a cliff than them doing the right thing. You know, that if you want to go that far, that's how far she goes. In reality, she presents the problems the company of lacking a direction going forward. And not a lot of people gave a good reception to it, even though it was from a critical source. Which makes me think, I gotta ask the question of Hot Keith. Is the Xbox fan base just doomed? If they can't take somebody who is in the sauce telling you things aren't great?
Well, I will walk around that by asking a more logical question. If you are going to the doctor, asking them for medical advice, and the doctor gives you the medical advice, and you go and ignore the doctor, are you stupid?
Yeah.
Basically.
That's it. That's plain ignorant because basically
you
you've got the proof, right? I mean, the social proof is.
So you have somebody who worked on
yeah.
Xbox originally who's telling you all the things that she has seen and then stuff that she has observed and then has been paying attention to this company run itself into the proverbial ground. And she's like, guys, stop. And then also going back to the handheld going, you think this thing is going to be cheap. You're crazy. And she is a very respected person within this industry. Okay, she may not be Phil Spencer or your favorite influencer, but she knows what she's talking about. She has the credentials.
Yeah, she's been around the block. Like she's like it.
So
she's responsible.
I would listen to her. I would listen to her.
And a proper point, yes.
Yeah, so, a proper point. Yeah. Yeah.
So when she's telling you something, and the problem that I had with that whole thing about her and people getting pissed off is it's okay for, and I'm going off him here, influencers to say what they want to say about Microsoft. A lot of them who don't know what the hell they're talking about, but they're just saying stuff to get people to watch their stuff or listen to them. But when you have somebody credible who has been there, knows what she's talking about, is breaking it down for you point by point, and people are going, oh, you know what you're talking about. You just don't want to hear the truth.
Like I said, like I truly think it's an element of cook there, and it's like, do I have disagreements with something she said because she's a little more positive? I agree. I think that she used to work there, positive bias, all that stuff, and I believe that's fine. But the issue is that she is credited. She does, and the lack of belief it says a lot. So I just generally think the Microsoft fan base, I think they're cooked, and they're always going to be cooked because she explained like things I've been like myself, like, oh, get silly. This is just a Microsoft hater. Not really, bro. They just suck. Like Game Pass is bad for you. It is bad. They can control the price, how much it goes up. You don't own the video games. That's a problem we'll talk about later about owning video games, things of that nature. So it's like, that's not great. And lo and behold, they jacked the price up.
But getting back to what she's. But the thing I want to say, what I want to say about her is this: she has no skin in this game. She's just telling you what's going on.
Yep.
And she's not the only person who has said this. When you want to get real about the price, again, not to toot our own horn, but we talked about this weeks ago, saying this is not happening. You people are crazy if you think that they're going to eat that cost. Now, that's just throw it all against the wall, because right now I really want to go ham on Microsoft. We come around to this shit today, June 2nd, and Microsoft Xbox just self-destructs. It literally just self-destructs. Self-destruction. That's what they did. And you listen to her, and you think about everybody else who's been talking about this, telling you that, Game Pass is not exactly the best thing for you. It's great. It's good for a while, but it's not the end all be all. When you hear them going, they're getting rid of these companies, they're getting rid of these people that make the company good. They have no idea what they're doing. They're throwing things against the wall. Their management is batshit crazy. And Matt likes to say that a lot because he's right. And then we see the shit that happens today.
Yep.
Now, for those
Yeah,
who are
they lay off
asking,
9,000 people,
9,000
and then I think
now-
Yeah.
now for people who are going, first of all,
And cancel projects too.
why?
Oh, and project cancel as well.
We're going to talk about all
Yeah.
this. We're going to talk about all this, but I want to tell people how this actually became to be, because I don't think a lot of people were actually paying attention to what happened here. And this is not the first layoff they've done.
No.
But think about this.
No.
What did they do in the last 2 years?
They bought Activision.
They brought Activision. How long did it take for that to take place?
Like a year.
It took 2 years.
Pretty
Because
much.
what
Years, yeah.
finally happened? What finally happened earlier this year? What
The
happened?
FTC
in
dropped
May?
the case.
The FTC
Yeah,
dropped the
yeah,
case.
it finally
So that
happened.
meant-
Yeah.
And that meant
That
Microsoft was like,
solidified it. Yes.
we can do whatever we need to do now. There will be no pushback. There will be no fighting. People will go, oh, it's just Microsoft cleaning house because this is Microsoft's house. And that's what happened. The second
Mhm.
FTC dropped that case, Microsoft was like, all this dead weight,
Yeah.
all the stuff that we have, the investors going, we want our money back. All the money you just spent to buy
Yep.
Activision, we want it back now. We want it now. And Microsoft's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we can get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of that. And the shit hit the fan. And before
Like
we
nobody's
keep-
business. Yeah.
And I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
say one more thing, and then I'm gonna shut up for let Matt and Scott and Kevin talk about this because I'm fuming. I literally can't.
Okay.
This company has been the most profitable it's been
Cook.
in years.
Yeah.
In
Decades,
years. And
Yep.
they had no reason to do what they did. It wasn't hurting them. Financially, they're in the best shape they've been in a very long time. Was not hurting them. They did this because management wanted to do so, because investors wanted their fucking money, and that was it. That was it.
Yep.
This came down to money, not because they didn't want to do it anymore, not because they weren't seeing the fruits of their labor. Money. That is it. They didn't have to shutter. They didn't have to get rid of 9,000 people. They need to cancel all these products. You didn't have to and this is pissing me off a lot, Turn 10 Studios. This is the company who made one of the best racing games in existence and has been doing it year after, well, every 2 years. It went to 2
Every
years.
other year, yeah.
It was the best racing game on Xbox. It went head to head against Gran Turismo. It was one of the reasons why we saw less and less racing games come out, because it was Gran Turismo and it was Forza,
It is Forza.
Motorsport.
Basically,
It was
back
a
to
reason
back.
why. It was a reason why Forza Horizon became to be, because they're like, hey, let's work with another studio and do something else. So you just killed Forza Motorsports, and don't say they didn't, because you got rid of half the team. Half the team.
Yes.
These are car nuts. These are people who live, breathe, ate cars, racing, everything. And you're telling me that they can exist and keep doing these games with half a team? No, they're going to become a support team for Forza Horizon now. Guaranteed. That's bullshit. That is not the way to treat the team that has made you bazillions of monies. Bazillions of monies.
No, and not to cut you off, Keith. It's like because you
I'm done.
you
I'm
hot.
done right there.
That's why I call you hot, Keith, man. You hot and bothered. You
That's
feeling
bullshit.
it, the heat, the energy, the passion. I respect that. But the thing is that like this has been a trend for a lot of companies in the AAA space now. They just don't respect the people who make the games. They really don't. And a show, it's like, let me get this straight. 9,000 people a year. You didn't fire 9,000 janitors. You didn't fire 9,000 secretaries. You didn't fire 9,000 copy machiners. You didn't fire 9,000 pencil bookers. You fire 9,000 people who make the product that puts your face on things, you stupid morons. I can't believe it. Like, good luck. I wish you the best. But like I said,
I'm not going to stop. Sorry.
he lied. He looked at me, he lied. But no.
You made a development studio, the initiative to make Perfect Dark, the new Perfect Dark. You've been talking about this game for years.
Forever,
you hired all this talent. You kept showing it off at different events. Come to find out that the last time you showed it was fake. So that was that. You guys suck for that. And then you just go, you know what? Let's just put a hypothetical number. We put in $300 million for this game so far in development. We don't care anymore. You're all gone. You're all gone.
Hate that.
The entire studio. We don't know how many people were there, but all those people, all that talent. And by the way, this part is going to blow your mind.
And the IP too.
They got rid of 90,000 people. A lot of it is from the gaming department, the gaming studios, right?
Yep.
Where the hell are these people going to go? That's on top of the other people that they already laid off, on top of the people the EA laid off, on top of the people that other companies have laid off. Where are they going to go? The gaming industry is self-destructing. It is killing itself. These people are not
very specific. The AAA gaming space is imploding. Like the indies are fine, the smaller titles are fine.
I would say indies are fine.
Fantastic.
Indies are having
very
some
specific.
Problems.
Well, the indies' problems are they're independent. Those are independent. I'm not even joking.
The indie problem is they just can't make consistent games. That's it. You know,
but that's
independent problems.
But the AAA and the AA is having a big issue, and a lot of it is corporations only caring about themselves, because this whole Microsoft debacle and this whole EA bullshit and the whole Ubisoft thing, end of the day, was management touched? Nope. Nope. They're fine. They're on their arm with their own.
Yeah, none of the people that did the bad stuff. Yeah, they keep their jobs. So you'll see them next time. You know.
And here we are. Here's everybody bitching about Bobby Kotick, that ass that he is, and his golden parachute. Okay, he's just the one that you know of because he was a toxic asshole.
Yeah.
How many people do you think right now in Microsoft have the same freaking deal? They're still making their bank. They're still there. While the people that busted their ass making these games, the developers, the art, the sound teams, everybody, they're gone.
That's the interesting thing too, is that a lot of the Activision shareholders, they never left. They've kept with just being in Microsoft. And I think that's another sad thing about this whole implosion thing is we did see some certain studios of like Call of Duty studios that had get axed. Yeah. But I also think that one of the reasons why they axed a lot of other and got other studios to support is my initial hope for maybe having the Activision studio being bought was that maybe we would have less Call of Duty and maybe less support for Call of Duty so that we could actually focus on the other IPs with Activision. As, you know, Phil Spencer tried to tell you when he was first buying it. That was a lie. It seems like they're going to be basically focusing more and more on Call of Duty again, which means Microsoft and Xbox is going to be another just sweatshop for Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
With more money.
Why do you think a lot of people, and I said this to Scott earlier, we were talking about this. I said, they just killed Perfect Dark. Why do they care? They have Call of Duty. They are the competition with themselves. Of course they don't care. All they need to do now is a single player. Oh, speaking of which, didn't they already hint towards that? The new Call of Duty, it's going to be an epic single player campaign. Why do we need Jonah anymore? We can just do Call of Duty. We can just do
Call of Duty and do a collab with Perfect Dark, and everyone will be happy.
What they're doing is making
if they do something with IP.
Exactly. They're now siphoning themselves not to be a wide company of products. They're just talling. There's just one singular, which also proved like, okay, so in the worst case scenario, people were worried that Microsoft was going to like own the console publishing market, be the biggest storefront of them all with Call of Duty. But no, they've done the worst. What they've done is they killed all other things to be more focused on Call of Duty or titles that in there instead of making new games. You have all these companies and you can't take any risk for AA titles, forgotten titles, or whatever. Like, regardless that Kevin and I are huge SNK fans, and regardless how we feel about like City of Wolves, I'm glad SNK took a risk to make me a Garo game. I'm happy that that risk was there. It cost them something, but that's all risk.
Exactly.
I respect that at least.
You know what? I think I need to explain myself a little bit more because I'm pretty sure people are going to watch and or hear this and go, Keith's just a hater. I am not a hater.
I mean, you're not a hater, but you don't have to be. Look, I said this before your last podcast. You don't have to be a hater. Reality does that for you if you look at Microsoft. Well, no. You don't have to be. Just look at reality. You'll see it, bro.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm not a hater. I have a logical outlook when it comes to a lot of things. I look at everything in a whole. I don't have any favorites. I don't have any favorite actors. I don't have any favorite musicians. I don't have any favorite movies. I don't have any favorite games. I like a lot of things, and I equally hate things. And if I see stuff that's going wrong, I call that shit out. I should have been a politician because I'd be a damn good one. But what's really also aggravating me is, I'll be honest, in the past, I was like, Phil Spencer is doing what he needs to do. He's doing what he can do. And now it's like, no, that motherfucker's a liar. That's
hard to say.
I don't know if you guys might have not.
I mean, I told you this years ago. I told you this years ago that he copies other people's aesthetics. You owe me like a pat in the back, but he copies other famous people's aesthetics to act like he's something he's not, and that's why I don't like him. Like I think the problem,
it's just it's frustrating because it wasn't that long ago he was talking to people saying like Rare got affected. Everwild got canceled. I was looking forward to Everwild. That's never going to happen. But he told people that game was making great progress. Great progress? You just fucking killed it. How is it making great progress? You just killed it.
And the worst thing, too, about the killing that is they got rid of a lot of the core staff of Rare, the ones who were in Rare for the last, 30 years, before they were even bought out by Xbox. Some of the people that were behind Banjo-Kazooie were there. Some of the people who were there for Donkey Kong Country were still there, and now they're not anymore.
Yeah. And I know. Who was the person who just left today or is leaving? What was his name?
Oh God, I actually forget. I'm not even trying to be that guy. I'm
trying to remember what he was. Was he like the co-founder of?
I think he was one of the founders of Rare back in the day.
And he left. He's like, I'm out.
And he got out.
I'm out.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh.
This is a guy who's been at Rare for 30 plus years, and he's like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm going.
Greg Males. He was
Greg Males. Yeah.
He was the one who even designed Banjo-Kazooie. So, yeah.
Which means if you guys want a new Banjo-Kazooie, you can stop asking for it because you're not going to get the DNA. It's gone.
You're not getting it from Rare, that's for sure.
That's for sure, man. It's just
odds are they're going to just transition Rare to just be Sea of Thieves now and just support, not actually anything after that.
Right, and it sucks because this is Rare. The people who've made so many innovative games during their time for Nintendo, and etc. Donkey Kong Country, we're still making to this day. Thanks, Nintendo. Star Fox. Do a barrel roll. Press RZ twice.
They didn't do that. Did they? Did they do?
Star Fox? Yeah, they did. No. Yeah. They did Star Fox 64. Yeah,
they made one of the Star Foxes
they made the first one.
They made Star Fox. They made Star Fox 64, the good one. Come on, let's stop.
Whoa!
They did make Star Fox 64. No, they didn't.
Yeah, they made 64.
They did Star Fox.
No,
Adventures,
they made Adventures. They made Star Fox.
Yeah, and Adventures sucked. Yeah. What are you talking? Adventures sucked.
Hey! They made Star Fox 64. You know why? Because if I give Miyamoto more credit in my life, I'm going to start jumping out that window. Okay, that's what I'm telling you.
The only people who like Star Fox Adventures was the furries.
Whoa! You mean?
Yeah, look at that.
Crystal enthusiasts. We got Cat.
So
Crystal enthusiast. That's the term we say.
Crystal, Crystal. But you see, I like Crystal better in Star Fox Command because I actually gave her a little bit more hatred. It's like,
yeah. But unironically though, Rare is responsible for many of the innovations in the platforming space, and I really mean this politely. And when during their time at Microsoft, all we got was Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, and I'm like, oh man, it's like it just sucked. You bought this company, got nothing, but.
Where is that?
We didn't even get
I have a piece that I was going to read before I bounced out. I don't know how long we can sit here and talk about this because
we could talk. Instead of talking,
we could probably be here a while to talk about the sadness that this ensues.
Because I don't want this to turn into like a rant session because it totally can.
It's not really a rant. It's just little. The thing is, at the end of the day,
it's calling out
Microsoft is in a dark time period. If you are a fan of Xbox. And you're a fan of Microsoft for some reason, kudos to you and the Kool-Aid you drink. And you looked at a Laura Fryer video and you still said, nah, you might have to start thinking about yourself because there are reality that you can't fight against.
I'll still buy their controllers because they make some of the better controllers out there.
That's the only thing it's like, yeah. But that's
they seem to be making a bunch of them every single time.
Exactly. Like they're mass producing them. Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's a piece that was published today on what is this website called? Skyboxcritics.com. Good piece. It's called An Incredible Day to Stop Giving Microsoft Your Money. But
I respect that.
I can see that this is written out of frustration, but also facts. But one piece of here is what I really want you people to think about. Think about this. All this is happening despite a CNBC report that Microsoft reported nearly $26 billion in net income on a $7 billion in revenue for the March quarter. The numbers were well ahead of Wall Street's consensus, keeping Microsoft ranked as one of the most profitable companies in the S&P 500 index. And then they did this.
Exactly. Yeah. Because again, like you said earlier in the thing, is that they're trying to keep their investors happy, and yet they're cutting their own legs under themselves because they don't, like as Laura Fryer pointed out, they don't really have a big future. It's all fog because how could a company not have a direction? Other companies I can name, the big two, I know some people here is not a fan of the Japanese, particularly, Sony and Nintendo. At least I know I have a future. I can see what they're going with. These guys, absolutely nothing. And that's not a good feeling. And that's in a nutshell.
I keep arguing with one person in particular here who I love you, but you make some dumb decisions and talk about some things really, really dumb sometimes. I keep saying, and I said this for a while now, I'm seeing parallels between Microsoft and what happened to Sega. And I'm seeing it more, and I'm seeing it more, and I'm seeing it more. The only difference is Sega, for lack
had less money,
and they were actually trying to do a good thing.
Yeah.
They had issues with Sega of America, Sega Japan, and then of course, when you release
the problem is that Sega was too avant-garde for their own good. Sega was too avant-garde, and they didn't have the money to do so, to continue making bad decisions. Microsoft has a lot of money, and they still make bad decisions.
And a lot of people forget the Sega that we are, the Sega of now is not the Sega of old, because I remember this because I was working in school district. Sega is actually Sammy Sega. OG Sega got purchased by Sammy because Sega didn't have the money.
Nope.
If Sammy had not purchased Sega would have been gone.
More or less,
people don't remember Sammy. It was like that Neutron logo, white and blue. That's Sammy. They own Sega, so it's Sammy Sega, but it's just Sega. But look it up, Sammy Sega. You'll see. But totally. Just a little
Sega. But and speaking of things that just continue to never stop dying, I'm going to take a little skip here. Is people just don't know how to stop killing games. Let's give a summation to this.
I see what you did there because Microsoft killed games too.
Exactly. People don't know how to stop killing games. There we go. See,
hey guys, hey, fighting game community. It's just never going to happen. We're never getting another Killer Instinct. I know.
People want KI.
There is a handful of people out there that
I want my
Killer
Okra back. I want Jago back. I like Killer Instinct. Kevin, you had to be there in the arcades when the first Killer Instinct came out. It was just
the arcade.
I grew up in the arcade. Man.
I still remember when the port came out and they had that cool ass commercial where they literally sliced the arcade in half with a chainsaw, and you got the port from the Super Nintendo. I was there, but I saw it in the arcades though, and I loved it. I was like, wow.
Arcades was the shit. It was
so
good.
yeah. Now we get back to stop killing games versus this guy called Pirate Software. So long story short is Pirate Software is a former BlizzDev, so you could already go from that. He's not intelligent. That's tier 1. Tier 2, the real reason is
he just went there.
Tier 2 is why he's not intelligent. Is he has a history of just saying a lot of stupid stuff. One of his major history thing that was really stupid is not today. Talk about stop killing games, which is right there in the title. He tried to sue a guy he tried to sue a developer who did not use his voice or liking for a troll game called Streamer, like a sim streamer game. So that's why he's stupid. I can put a DMC over that. That's stupid point number one.
Who is this guy? Who is this person? Break it down for me. Who is this guy?
Pirate Software is his own kind of paradox.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I already answered that. He's a Blizzard developer. Therefore, he's not intelligent. That's step 1. You want
so
step 2.
Let me dumb it down a little bit.
Yes,
for those of you who are online, Pirate Software is a big influencer and a big creator who basically goes on the premises of he wants people to be able to pirate software. Hence the name.
I've heard of this person. I had to pay this person no attention. Sorry, that's why I didn't know who it is.
I've had him muted for like years because his takes are absolutely bonkers. But anyways, he's just a paradox of a person because, as I said before, he is super for pirating software, but he's also super for online DRM. But at the same time, he gets angry at companies who use online DRM. It's a weird
You're
it makes no
pirating
sense.
Game, but you're for online DRM.
Yes,
he's also what we might call an he's also not intelligent. That's what he's not intellectual.
Well, that right there is not intelligent.
So
for pirating.
This is Pirate Software, and he's only a little bit important to this story. The main crux of this is there's an initiative called Stop Killing Games. A person named Russ Scott, who's going to a variety of different regions and different countries who have these things called consumer laws, is trying to draft something for them to look over, which is essentially a document to help them see of ways that they can help companies and publishers to be able to have online games be able to be functional after they kill the services.
Which makes sense.
And there's ways to do it. And he has it all documented, and he has everything. He has a really good video on what he's trying to do with this initiative.
He has a great video, a great website. He has people translate.
Yeah.
In his first paragraph, he actually explains the premise of this. And this guy called Pirate Software, former Blizzard dev, national dumbass. Just what he is. He's a dumbass. Let's be honest. He's a dumbass. So he thought that this meant only for single-player games. Hot Keith. Stop killing games. What does that mean to you? Just say, stop killing games.
I mean, do you want me to stop hitting with hammers, or do you want me to?
I need you to just answer that question. Just because you're not in the sauce, we're in the sauce. I want someone outside of sauce to prove how dumb this Blizzard developer was. I mean, Pirate Software, same person. Stop killing games. What does that mean to you? If I just say it right,
it means stop killing games. It means stop.
Where did single player get into that sentence? Where did single player get in that sentence?
I don't know. That's pretty.
I mean,
hard.
I think you need to pull back the layers and understand how people like to throw things into a conversation that people never said. I didn't say who that person was that I murdered. I just murdered somebody.
Yeah.
No, here's within the first paragraph, Russ puts his full objective there. This initiative is designed to help preserve video games. That when a game goes offline, like Gundam Evolution, it is given to the community and they themselves can do with it. No developer is being forced to drive this game on forever. Yep. No developer is forced to do it forever.
This initiative was a direct result of Russ Scott's annoyance at how the crew was handled. And he wanted to be able to find a way to, have that not happen again. Where someone steals licenses and takes the game away from you because the online services are unavailable.
I remember getting that thing, and they were like, "Your game's gone." I'm like, "Bro, what do you mean my game's gone? I paid for that."
So that's what sparked Russ Scott into making this initiative, and this is how it is, or why it was made 10 or 11 months ago, during when the crew was pulled from storefronts. And so Pirate Software made a huge and very popular video of basically going on and very maliciously going through the documentation of Stop Killing Games and completely misrepresented everything that this initiative was about. And because of it, a lot of the traction died almost immediately after it started.
Yeah.
However,
the worst part about this, the worst part about his misrepresentation is that if you watch him live, the video's up, you can actually watch it in real time, lie and go to a different clip or someone else. He couldn't get past the first paragraph / page. And I never saw someone be that level of bad faith. I've seen, again, I call a lot of people stupid in my life. I still call people stupid. I mean, that's what I do for a living. But I can't imagine that level of bad faith. That's what gets me super upset, because I can't believe you did that. My brother in Christ, I just asked Hot Keith here, who's dying in the summer of our Lord. Stop killing games. He said, it means stop killing games. It's right there, man. It's right in the title.
Yeah. So the story then continues after that happened. Go back about a week ago. Russ Scott made another video basically going through Pirate Software's... Basically has his entire video going through and making the bullet points of what he's trying to address. And a lot of the things that Russ Scott said then got stated on Twitter by Pirate Software and basically saying that he was an idiot and blah, blah, blah. And that infuriated a bunch of other content creators and influencers who then initially all they wanted to do was to go to Pirate Software DMs and just have a nice conversation and just be like, hey, I think you may just don't understand this initiative, so I want to go through you in good faith and help you understand why this is actually a good thing, not a bad thing. And he just went on a giant tirade of, I talked to all these influencers and blah, 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 they're trying to attack me. And it's just none of them actually wanted to attack him. They wanted to help him understand why Stop Killing Games is actually a good initiative and not a terrible, everything is trying to destroy gaming industry.
It's like he needs to be the chosen one. This guy has some like I never met this guy. Like the worst part about it is that like I think it's a guy I watched. His name is the Act Man. Does reviews. His theory is that Pirate Software did this on purpose, not only because he's stupid. He went the different route. He says he did it to be the villain, so everyone can rally against. I think that's a funny theory, but he doesn't know. Pirate Software is a developer, so he's not intelligent.
Yeah. The reason why I think Pirate Software is against it is because, again, he is for online DRM. Guess what happens if you don't have the online DRM? The game no longer becomes functional.
Yeah. Basically,
so he doesn't want that to happen to his game. He doesn't want to have to be the one to go to with this initiative. He doesn't want to keep his game after its death, basically.
Yeah. Great guy.
I just want to understand one thing about this. Mm-hmm. Why do people care about what Pirate Software is saying in the first place? It just seems like a guy interjected himself into something he had no business being part of.
He has a following, he has a platform, and that's basically it.
A platform apparently
of grifters. Basically, it's another grifter who has a stupid following of people who listen to everything he says, and they're yes men or yes peoples. Mm-hmm. That's what it sounds like to me.
Exactly.
That's just me I'm calling what I see it.
Right, but
and the worst thing about it is when you Google search "Stop Killing Games," Pirate Software's video on it is the first result.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And like I said, the worst part about it is that like people came to him in good faith, as Scott pointed out, to like say, "Hey, you must have misinterpreted. Let me tell you about it." No, and this is why I say he's a Blizzard stupid. But he also has a history of doing this forever, like gaslight, gatekeep. Well, he's not GERD boss, so I'll say game dev. In the past, before there was a hardcore World of Warcraft, and that was popular. Remember, you used to play World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft Classic.
Oh my god!
He pulled a classic rat, aka ditch the party to survive. Hey, it happens all the time. Instead of admitting he ratted, he tried to gaslit everyone in the room that he did nothing wrong. There's nothing he could do. What was I supposed to do? That's all I gotta say about the man. I have little respect for him as a human being because he's a fake intellectual. I've met too many of my kind this way, and I don't respect him because it's like. There's a level of bad faith to do something like this. This is clearly Stop Killing Games. It's right there. There's different levels of bad faith. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, there's levels of bad faith where, like, if you don't understand something or something seems off to you or feels weird, it's like, oh, Matt's like, Gitsillis is going like 5-hour conversation talking about why he thinks, puzzle design should be XX or XXX. That's a bad faith you can say that because Matthew's going to diatribe. That's what I do. I go on diatribes.
No,
but the point was that, like, I can understand that.
What I think is he saw an opportunity to get himself interjected, and he did it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, exactly, 100%. Oh, 100%.
I want to be relevant. Yeah, I want to be relevant of something that I had no reason to be part of, and I interjected myself into it, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
The fun irony in all this is because of Pirate Software's blowout, a lot more people are now understanding the Stop Killing Games because they finally see a little bit more of the grifter that he is. And so it actually is the direct now result of how the UK pledge is actually fully signed. The only one that needs to be signed now is the EU pledge.
Yep. Which we're getting there. We're getting there.
So if you're interested in signing and you live in the EU, please do, because it is a very good initiative, and it is something that I do think publishers do need to think about. I think it is very important for games to have a lifespan that's not tied to having to own a server.
I agree.
Right. And like I said, one of his key components as bad faith about the argument is that a developer that work on a game forever. He set in Stop Killing Games, again, within the first page, the game given back to the community. They can make their own mods, they can do whatever they want. And again, at the end of the day, I think it's pretty nice. If I bought something, I own it. I know that Keith and I has hours of conversation talking about video gaming changing from the right to ownership to right to access. And this is the perfect example of that topic. Keith, you want to talk about that in a very short, in the lowest form we can talk about it? You hot
Let me
piece? You want
say-
to talk about that?
Let me. I'm gonna have you rephrase that, but I'm gonna interject something here real quick. I respect for what is being done here in terms of stop killing games, and I also want to harken us back into a time when we had online games, and they actually had dedicated server software for those games.
Mm-hmm.
And after those games died off, we still can install that software on the machine to keep that game running. Before ID software, its software took Quake and put it on proprietary servers. Quake and Quake 2 had dedicated server software. Unreal Tournament had dedicated server software. Half-Life still has dedicated server software. There are countless older games that came with dedicated server software where you get your own server, VM, whatever, and you install the game on there and you manage the game, you run the server, and it's all you. And you know what? Developers and publishers, they had no issues with it. Have fun. Those days are obviously long gone, but I miss those days because if that was the case, stuff like this wouldn't be a thing. We would not be having this conversation.
No.
If we kept the same outline like we did back in like the 90s with servers, sure, we might have less security, but at the same time, security isn't all that much better nowadays anyway.
Yep.
Right. And the thing is that, like, when you buy a video game, those games, like, you owned it. Now it's the right to access because if a publisher or developer turns off access to it, again, you guys hear me talk about it. I love Final Fantasy 14. I like Marvel Rivals. There is a time that, jokingly, if Final Fantasy 14 feels like the numbers aren't doing great, I guess I could just turn off the servers. What am I going to do? All that money, all that work is gone.
Yeah,
that's a nightmare scenario. That could happen. Even if you play World of Warcraft, that happened to you too. So the problem is that, like, why don't we just pass a law that when they decide to close the game, they give the community the code, make it public access, and then we can run the game ourselves. Oh, wait, let's the code. It's called Stop Killing Games!
The problem, I like the idea, and I'm pretty sure hundreds of thousands of millions of people think that's a good idea as well. But the only people who don't think that's a good idea, obviously, is the people who should care less about it is the companies, the publishers, the shareholders. Guys, if this game is pretty much a dead game and you're at the point where you're powering off those servers, how does it hurt you to give the code or source code to someone to keep this game online? Obviously, you don't want to pay to keep the lights on anymore. So how is it hurting you and your bottom line to just give it to somebody else for them to do? But the thing is, because they don't use their brain, there are very smart people out there who will reverse engineer your shit and find a way to get the servers online anyway.
Right.
As Matt alluded to, like, I didn't even know they got the Evolution at online servers until actually today. When I saw a video and I was like, wait, it's still playable? I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know that. Because now
I thought it was like private stuff.
But now now we have it. Only PC players can do it, but it's here. I can still play it.
And that's the thing. It's like, again, the easy summation of right to game, right to access. Back in the olden days, you bought a game, you owned it. Now we have online gaming. You pay for the right to access. As I think his name is Ross. Is it Ross? It's not Lucas, right?
Oh, Scott Russ.
Scott Russ. There we go. Yeah. He's Scott, not RPG Scott, but Scott pointed out that, like, in many of the agreement tabs that you read before you click online, whatever, do say they can shut it down on you. And that bothered him, and he decided to do something against it in Europe. And that's great. And I think that's the problem. It's like, I don't think how this hurts anybody that they put protections for products you own. Wouldn't it be weird if you bought a television and the television stopped working because of some access you didn't put it online, and the TV company can just take away your TV just because of that? That's a lot of money. That's weird, right?
They can actually do that.
Yeah.
They can actually do that? Oh man, that sucks. We gotta stop killing TVs. All right, let's pass that next week.
We have set-top TVs where they go, we're not updating the software anymore. You can no longer access certain things anymore. Maybe not even access our network anymore. But we'll buy a new TV. Google's notorious for this. They do this a lot. There's hundreds of thousands of devices that they go, hey, we're not supporting this anymore. It's not a dead box. Sorry.
One of their didn't they do that for a recent product they had? Like, just cut it off. I forgot what it was. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Stadia, of course.
Stadia, there we go. Yeah, Stadia. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good fever dream.
So
But yeah, it's just like so.
That is something that exists. I just want to let you know it's not an if, it happens. There was a thing not too long ago where was it BMW or Mercedes, one of the two, where you purchased a car and then you had to pay them more to unlock features. You bought the damn car, but you have to pay them more.
I thought it was BMW. I remember that.
I think they scrapped it when people were like, "What? I paid you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for this car. You want me to pay more to unlock something?" This is way out of hand already.
Yeah.
Just let you know, it's a thing.
That sounds unfun.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like
that sounds massive. That sounds massive fun.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken situation where, the characters are actually on the disc, but now you have to pay to unlock.
Disc lock content. Yeah. The real DLC. Yeah. But oh god, that's terrible. But on a serious note, not to beat in the horse, if you guys can, please support Stop Killing Gang. Sign a petition, your group really help. Block Pirate Software where you can get. I personally have no respect for him because he's a Blizzard dev, jokingly, but I have no respect for him because he's anti-intellectual, and I think it takes a level of bad faith to go this far. Again, there's difference between misinterpreting something and having bad faith. There's a clear difference, and this person was just straight bad faith. So support Accursed Farms. Check out his stuff. I really recommend to do it because the more rights we have for stuff we purchase, the better stuff we own. That's all I gotta say. The better stuff we own. So I think, unless Hot Keith wants to talk about arcade racing.
Yeah, I kind of do. So as I mentioned, I grew up in arcades. I actually worked in arcade for a number of years. Actually, it was a Namco arcade, not Bandai Namco, because there was a whole thing where Bandai purchased Namco. So Namco timeout.
Yeah.
Before the Bandai Namco times.
The better Namco.
Those times. Aladdin's Castle and various other arcades. One of my favorite games to play outside of the beat 'em ups and the fighting games was the racing games, and they had some amazing racing games. So was it Scud Racer, was Sega GT, Daytona USA, Ridge Racer, Cruising USA. It is thousands of amazing arcade games, and then eventually home consoles started becoming a thing, and those games made the jump over. And maybe last 10, 15 years, maybe those things stopped becoming a thing. Like even Bandai Namco gave up the ghost on Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer. This was one of the games that made Bandai Namco. Mm-hmm. You couldn't buy a PlayStation without a Ridge Racer game being released.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Sega came on with its Daytona USA, and then again Cruising USA, and it was like everything that was an arcade came home. But slowly but surely, Sega Rally is still one of the best rally games ever. Still one of the best.
Oh yeah.
But as consoles becoming more and more of a thing, and also PC gaming, this genre of games simply went away. And I was thinking about this a couple days ago because I get very reminiscent about old games, and there was one game in general that I loved. It was called Split Second. I'm not sure if you guys have played it, but basically it was if you
believe it or not, I'm actually aware of it because I'm also was an arcade person. It was either go to the arcade or go to school. So
that wasn't in arcades. It was a game that was made.
I know, I know.
It emulated Ridge Racer and Burnout, and also threw in like Michael Bay movie magic into it. So you weren't just racing on a track; you were racing on a track, and you were doing things like setting off explosives that would knock down mountains of rocks or change the course of the track, or you would run through airports. It was an amazing game. It was from Black Rock Studios, Disney, when Disney was doing games back when. And this game was an amazing game. It reviewed so well. People could not stop talking about this game. It was amazing. And then
it was one of the must plays on the PS3.
Yeah. PS3, 360, even on Steam. And then Disney was like, oh no, it's going away. But the thing that sucked about this was when you beat the game, the game was basically made in like a show. It was basically like next season coming soon, which was basically the sequel to the game. And the sequel was being worked on. And then Disney was like, no, we're pulling out. We're done. Which didn't make any sense because, again, the game reviewed well and people bought it. It was a great game. But it was funny, though, because Black Rock Studios, the people who made that studio went off to do other things. I think someone went to Codemasters, and I think a couple of them went to another studio. It was a great game. It's a great game. But the thing that got me though is we're not seeing companies doing these arcade games anymore. And when you look at like the beat 'em ups, we're seeing more beat 'em ups, right? They're coming back. You know, the Streets of Rage.
Well, have you played Victory Heat Rally? That's an arcade.
But
arcade
that's
racer.
what I'm. Yeah, but out of how many? Like, look at the beat 'em ups.
I mean, I might actually unironically have to check my library for all the indie racing games I played recently to give you a heads up on it, because I could have. There's at least 3 of them right now, but I would recommend.
That's what I'm saying though. It's a very small number compared to how it used to be, and I blame that on a couple of different factors. One, people just don't like them anymore. 2, or they're not aware of them. 3, Forza Horizon has killed arcade racing because people think that is arcade racing.
Well, I would say more Mario Kart-esque or kart-isms became what people think arcade racing now.
Mario Kart,
like a lot of people.
Mario Kart
accidentally Mario Kart, I'd say.
Like, yeah, I would say it's Mario Kart. Yeah, that's more.
But see, that's the thing, though. If that exists, I would give Mario Kart is more of a pure arcade racer than Forza Horizon. But that's what I'm saying. People saw what Forza Horizon was doing, and like, we can't compete with this. Like, there was a Hot Shot Racing with an indie game that came out a couple years ago. Great game. Did not sell at all. And every time I looked at reviews, people were like, this is cool and all, but I can do this in Forza Horizon. And I'm like, dude, what? Arcade racing
I don't know. I kind of feel like
it wasn't about that.
I feel like when it came to the arcade racer, right? We evolved from like Outrun to speed racers to speed type racers to, I would say, arcade racers simulated feeling, to bike racers to, jokingly, one of my favorite innovations of the genre, Crazy Taxi. That's dope. I give credit to that.
I guess
I give credit to that. Yeah, it is innovative, and it's you still have to go fast, but you have to like do a whole bunch of things. So give it that for that. And I want to say, like, once Mario Kart hit that popularity, I gotta say like 64. No, kart racing became the dominant racing thing, and no one else really kind of made racing games. Sim races were a thing, but I got to give it to more Mario Kart that kind of killed the genre.
I don't agree with that. I don't see a lot of kart games coming out. Yes, but racing games, we still see them coming out. But they're now more of the they're more simcade than arcade anymore. Again, Forza Horizon is a simcade. It's not an arcade racing. Arcade racing is get in your car, race around the track, multiple tracks. That's it. Not or racing through the mountains or running across the grass to get to there to get points to get into a what do you call it? Some kind of quest to get more cars. That's not an arcade game.
No,
Ridge Racer is an arcade game.
Yeah, because
is a car game.
Yeah, there's less of a commitment. You
hit the start exactly. You get 10 minutes of bliss, amazing music, great visuals, a great sensation of speed, and that's
especially 4. Yeah.
That's all they are. I mean, maybe because I'm just nostalgic for the past because I'm an old head, but some of the indie games that I played, and I did play Victory Lap Racing, and I like it, but I want more of that. I want more people to start doing this. And the thing is, AAA gaming doesn't do that to an extent. Like, again, Forza Horizon and The Crew. That's it. Oh, and Need for Speed. Don't get me started on freaking Need for Speed.
It seems like what you just like unironically what you want. But now what you want more rally racers. You want more jokingly straight line racing. I call it joke.
No,
you want more rally racers.
No,
yeah, but rally racing. The thing is, like, rally racers is like, I want to say, a product of like the arcade evolution now, because like nowadays when people look at rally racers, people look at the simu ones of it. That's the one that get the money.
And that's what I said. All these games that are coming out now are simcades now. They're not arcade. I'm nostalgic for a bygone era, I should say. But there are still some great arcade racing games out right now. There's just not as many.
Yeah.
Again, Mario Kart, but outside of Mario Kart, Wipeout is dead. We haven't had another Horizon Chase game. That was okay.
Like I said, right now I would recommend Victory Rally. That's up there for me. Victory Rally is really strong.
Burnout is dead. Blur is gone. Hot Wheels, okay. Hard Rock Racing
cool.
is like. I mean, that's it. If you look them up, you'll see what I mean. Like all these games are games from the past, and there are no updates. They just want to do SimCase now, or a hybrid of that. I just miss the old arcade racing games, and maybe I just want Bandai Namco to get off its ass and give us another Ridge Racer. That's it. Just give us another Ridge Racer. Sega, give us another Daytona USA.
That's not happening.
You gotta wait for the
anniversaries,
anniversaries, man. You gotta wait for the anniversaries. They'll wake up.
Bandai Namco hates it.
And
like,
I should
if you
go
play
back.
Tales of games, Bandai Namco hates you. That's all I gotta say.
And I should go back. There was not too long ago, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there was another cruising game for the Switch. It was all right. Cruising Blast. It was okay. It was an arcade game too. It was okay. But that was it. You don't see many more games coming out. I just miss arcade racing. That's all. I miss it. Take me back to time. Let me play Ridge Racer for the very first time.
That ain't happening, old man.
Go back. I miss Dot Hack. I've just accepted it's never coming back.
I miss
pretty much. Everyone hates CyberConnect, man. Like Bandai Namco,
Apparently.
if you have any game, like I said, if there's any game that's bad Bandai Namco, they probably hate you. Like, hey man, remember Tales of Arise made millions of dollars, and even with DLC, I was like, yeah, we're getting no Tales game. Oh, they just hate you. Okay,
that's it. That was just it, guy. That was it. You forgive the old man ranting about a bygone era that he missed. But if you're my age, you miss arcade games as well.
I do.
I mean, again, I jokingly keep saying this. Like, Victory Heat Rally is that good. Just play that. Like,
it's fun. It's fun. But you know, when I played Victory Heat Rally, I thought of Power Drift. Remember Power Drift from Sega? That's what that game reminded me of. It's the same.
Isn't it like that 32-bit game or something like that? And then after it's
no. It was look up Sega and Power Drift and look at Victory Heat Rally. You're going to see the exact comparisons. I should reach out to the developers of that game and ask them, did you play Power Drift Racing in arcades? And I bet you they're going to say yes.
All right. So everyone, thank you for listening to Spectator Mode Podcast. Follow us on Blue Sky, YouTube. Check out the Spectator Mode Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and wherever your podcasts are hosted. And be sure to follow us on the Outerhaven YouTube page and follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky as well, the Outerhaven. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.